for a motion to approve the agenda. All in favor? Agenda approved. Approval of the minutes of the previous meeting dated Monday, June 16th, 2025.
Under Robert's motion, Jamie made the motion, because I abstained. And then under ordinance 811-5, below that, changing typo from 35 to 35 should be 35 to 30.
And the operator's license, you gotta take what's a mean king?
What?
It's a mean king.
Does it?
Yeah. You can get over everything.
Any other corrections or additions? If not, I'd be looking for a motion to approve the minutes.
I'll make that motion.
Do I have a second?
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
Approved. Approval of the monthly bills.
Is finger polishing like newspaper notices?
Everybody's had a chance, if you don't have any other questions, I'd be looking for a motion to pay the bills.
I would make a motion.
Do we have a second?
One quick question, there's Quill Corporation. Part operating expenses.
Yeah, we can all. Yeah, it's just cheaper to go through there than using Cisco.
I'll second.
All in favor? And roll call, please, Corey,
Yeah.
Jane, Mike, and Jamie. Great. Any bills? Public comment, does anybody have any public comment?
Willie Schmidt, I have the gas station, the mobile station, and I have one question is, we have two signs each end of the town that says Rock Springs, the village that roars. I purchased a slushy machine and a national drink called Tiger Blood. I thought it'd be a good thing to promote for the kids down at the park. They could come down, have a drink and listen to the Tigers roar and all that kind of stuff. We have an event on Friday nights, and for some reason I keep getting crucified for this, and I don't understand why.
Can I comment on that? It's not because of that, it's because of undercutting our prices. Because the event we put on, we're a nonprofit, so we put it on, if we don't make enough money, it doesn't go on. Then you're not gonna make any money either, kind of thing. We just all need to work together, and it's never happened that way.
I do not undercut. I have the prices posted up there that I sell year round. It's not undercutting anybody.
It didn't
So-
start till we started Full Throttle last year. Just like.
I had the same prices last year. I don't cut anybody with the prices. It's the same prices I have year round. I advertise the prices just like any other business would. You advertise the bar up there advertises by putting a sign up, they have barbecue. They have a sign up that says they're open. All I'm doing is advertising my prices for my food that I have in the business. And they just crucify me on social media, and I just don't understand why we have an event that goes on 10 days out of the year, crucifying a business that's year-round.
Well, unfortunately, I see it, it's not really a village issue, is what I see, it's between the two entities, for the most far as, from my point of view, where I'm sitting. I don't know how anybody else feels. I mean, I don't know what the village can do to help you.
Oh, yeah, it's exactly what you kinda get to the bottom of this and just kinda get on, because.
Yeah, we'd like
There's a lot of
everybody to
people
get
that-
along.
Exactly, I mean,
There's
we're
a-
advertising, the village is advertising the Tigers and, you know, we're the town that roars, or the village that roars. I'm doing the same thing, I'm helping the town out, but I'm getting crucified for doing it. I don't understand that part. It's a national drink. And I was never asked by anybody ever to help them or join in with any of the situations, so I can't answer for their part.
I'd like to make a little, seems public input. I can remember when gas stations started. And I can remember when we didn't have a gas station. And I can remember when the village was so thankful when they got a gas station here. And, you know, whatever a business has to do to survive, I don't care who the business is, they have to do what they have to do to keep their lights on.
I understand that, and he has the right to have specials whenever, all year round, I agree with that. But I think what's going on is it's really, I don't feel it's a real village issue, is my opinion. Cause I mean, the village is not the one that's putting, you know, social media out saying, or whatever you call it, whatever you said, bashing or whatever. The village is not, it's not coming from the village.
But it's hard to both businesses too, because they get feedback from people that aren't in this area that wanna come, and they get the feedback of, you know, stores doing this, or the big cats are doing this because of this, like.
I mean, as a village, we want to be able to support both entities.
Exactly.
That's where I sit, and that's where the village board wants to sit too. We want to support, well, I shouldn't speak for the whole village board, but in general, the village board wants to support the village.
And it's not like you're posting 2 months or that certain day. You're posting it 24/7,
Exactly.
52 days a week. You have to make make money too.
Exactly.
So,
I mean, I'm sure the prices would have been like that before, but we didn't see the signs until we started Full Throttle last year. So obviously nobody knew those prices or whatever, but it's almost like you are undercutting us, because people are gonna go over there because it's cheaper. But then therefore, if we're not making the money, Full Throttle's not gonna go on. You're not gonna be able to watch the band or whatever, so just saying. And it didn't start till Full Throttle last year for those banners and stuff that you have.
when did you start putting the signs out? I mean,
I started last year,
okay.
at that time.
But how long have you had the business? Well,
October.
I'm just trying to
October will be 2
correlate.
years.
Okay. Correlate times.
I mean, you find out there's a big event going on, you're gonna put signs out to let people know that
Right,
you have food
because
and you're
you-
advertising
Yep.
your food prices and all that kind of stuff. That's all I did.
Because you have to make money as well as they.
Exactly. I have to keep my doors open year round,
Yeah,
not,
I agree, everyone needs to try to keep their lights on, doors open, but both have to make money. Like we said, if both Throttle can't make money, it won't be there any longer, or if the gas station can't make money, it won't be there either, so. We just have to find a way that everybody can just get along, and that's just, so, thank you for bringing that up, or your concern, and, so now you know why, it's not, it's just, we've heard both sides of how they feel too now, so. So now if we can figure something out, so everybody can just move forward. Go from there, so. Any other public comment?
Yeah, so when this all started, in the beginning, I came to this gentleman here and I told him, this is why we're doing Full Throttle night, this is what had to be done. And the only reason I came in there, because, you know, Charlie, everybody worked together at one time. So I give, because in the village you hear a lot of things that are being said. So I gave him the benefit of the doubt and talked to him, and I told him we have to make, that is the only thing we can make money at, is that right there, that concession stand. And that's how we keep Full Throttle going. So then, fast forward a few hours, and the band's setting up. And they're over there trying to see what our prices are so they can go under all of them. And we had our, even the Sauk County Sheriff, our little get-together there, because they can say, well, we can do what I want, we'll drop everything below it. Because their whole plan was they're gonna get a bunch of people there. Now, I have no problem at squashing it all right now, if we all work together. And as far as, I didn't think, why would I come to you money when you just did that to us for that? Why would I come and ask you for anything? What sense does that make? And then all through Full Throttle, and I've been watching this year, people went up there, got your bags of beer and everything. I didn't say a word. I could have put no carry-ons in.
You
and
put
bet
signs
you
up
had.
that said no
2
carry-ons.
weeks ago,
Yeah, 2 weeks ago.
What I recommend is.
And then I still let them come across. I'm not gonna say you can't listen to the band because you brought beer up there. Just not gonna do it. Because they're buying beer there, which is fine. And they're coming and buying food over at the concession stand too.
I mean, I'm open to sitting, if both of you wanna sit down as two entities, I'm willing to sit down as a third party, just so you can hash it out. I don't think this is something that we need to be having at our meeting right now, so.
Right, and I think both of us are grown men and we don't need to have you.
Well,
You
I
don't have to
just,
sit there and negotiate with us.
well, I just
I'm
wanted,
sure we
I
can
just
figure
wanted to
something
offer
out.
a neutral party, you
Right.
know, or whatever. If not, that's okay too, just. But yeah, if we can just find a way to get along, we both sort of heard both your sides and right, wrong, indifferent. I mean, if we can just agree to get along and try to move forward, I guess that's what I'd be looking for, looking to do, so. And how we move forward, that's up to you two to figure out how you wanna get along moving forward.
Obviously, our goal is to make the village prosper and grow. And without both of you guys in this town, we can't do
We
that.
can't do that.
So it would be nice if there could be a common ground figured out between the two of you. So that way we can move forward with this and we can make this whole village work. I mean, at the end of the day, we all wanna see it go.
Didn't I do that by buying the slushy machine to promote the drink for the roar of the town, for the Tigers and all that kind of stuff?
I agree with you 100%. I mean, whether there was a ulterior motive with calling it Tiger Blood, or if you ordered that specific, I don't know. And
Actually, I didn't even order it. It came with the machine. I didn't even,
so, I mean, that.
They gave me
to
two
me,
flavors.
That's the little picture in this whole
Right.
thing. That slushing machine is a very minor thing that I see. Like Lisa said, as a village board, we can't settle your problems because we have no say. It's between you two grown men to finish whatever it is there that needs to be hashed out so that we can both work together. So when the people come into this village, there's no, well, we're not gonna go support the gas station, or we're not gonna go down there and support the, Full Throttle. Everybody needs to, there never used to be a problem. Everybody just kind of mingled around and had a good time, so. At the end of the day, that's what I think to see.
If that was purchased for that, can't you give a percentage? Can't you guys work out where you give a percentage to the non-for-profit?
all he needed to do was ask. He never asked.
Well, sometimes all you need to do is offer too. So, I'm just saying, it sounds like something could be worked out. I'd follow whatever outline Charlie had with you. Seems like it worked for years, and that's what I would do. And
Only thing that I was ever offered was, I was told not to sell alcohol and food on Friday nights because of his concession stands. And I will not shut down my food and my alcohol on a Friday
yeah,
night.
I'm
That don't even make
I'm not
sense.
suggesting that either.
Okay, well, hopefully, two of you work something out. We need the, we'll try to support both the best we can. And we just want to see the village prosper, so. Sorry if that's not the answer you're looking for, but.
No, and Full Throttle is great because it brings a lot of people to town. I don't bash Full Throttle because it brings people to town. Just like the Tigers, they bring people to town. We have people stop at the gas station all the time and ask for directions on where to go. We send them right where to go. We don't bash other businesses. You just don't do that.
We need the village to grow, so.
Childish to do that too.
Any other public comment?
I do have one more, and that is about the Friday nights, and I really wish that he would take control of those guys doing burnouts. They do them over by the park there, and it's just gonna take one stone coming out from underneath the tires, and some little kid's gonna get hurt. And I'd much rather see us put a stop to it now, before a kid gets hurt. The other day, or before the 4th of July, there's a guy that come out, burned out, and there's a person in the crosswalk, and it was an older person, and they had to really hit the brakes hard because she didn't get out of the way quick enough. They gotta control them burnouts before somebody gets hurt.
It's not like we don't tell them that. We've got
I have
on
never heard a
microphone
message
and
yet.
tell them, yeah, we have.
I know in the past there've been issues too, and you guys have quelled them pretty good, but
Yeah,
yeah.
it's, you know, and you're there. If I'm on the other side of the thing and someone does a burnout, you know, I'm not telling them, yeah, roll them, burn them out. By the time I get there, they're gone. You know, and then they get out at that corner and they light them up anyway.
And we have no control over it once it gets on the state property, you know what I mean, on the state highway.
Right.
I think that we both know the culprit to the burnout, and I think we just need to talk to them and tell them no more on village property. You know, if you wanna do a burnout, go out on double D or go out on 130.
Well, I told them before, inside, then once you pass this, you're inside these stop signs, you can't be doing it, but you know they're gonna do it.
It's simple, one burnout and you're done. You're not welcome here anymore.
Opposite?
I have a solution.
I forgot you were over there in the corner.
I didn't do it, I walked right by him, he said,
I retract that statement about 136
I think that's a great idea.
No, in all seriousness though, for both of you guys, obviously we want it to be a safe event as well. We also, I'm not speaking for the sheriff's department, but I'm a very reasonable person. And I understand if you have an event like this and you have a certain position, or I have no idea if burnouts are allowed or not. You know, if it's in a controlled, I know some places have burnout pits, right? So, in a controlled environment, okay, but, you know, I have no problems, if you guys want me to, I can most certainly put out a message to my troops and say, hey, Friday nights, just kind of show a little more presence, you know, not that we're looking to jam people up, right? 'Cause,
right, but so you start showing a presence of like, you know, a bunch of squads in there, then everybody thinks that they're just there trying to.
Right, trying to hook people for drunk driving, which obviously we don't want people to drunk driving, but, you know, maybe they're less likely to burn their tires off if they know there's a squad in the area. You know, I don't know. If that's something you guys are interested in, I can most certainly make that happen. At least one car, you know, in the area, just to try to curb that, right?
Well, that should be easy, they sit across from my place like 80% of the day.
Right?
So,
Right?
at least come and get something to eat, you know? Everybody asks me why they sit up there. I don't know.
I'll tell you, actually, you know, it's a great question. My father-in-law, I'll go back to that, he asked me one time, he said, every single time I drive to Baraboo, I see a squad car. He lived over by the old healthcare center. So he brought 154 to 136 and went to Baraboo, and he said, every single time. Well, for people who don't know, Rock Springs is the center of the county. In our eyes, it is, as far as the map goes. The county is split into 4 sectors, all 4 sectors being in Rock Springs. So if there's a car or 2 that are busy in their area, the other area cars will go central, which is Rock Springs, so they can respond in a more efficient manner to any other call for service that's coming in. So a lot of times they'll go hang central, i.e. they'll go to Rock Springs. So thankfully, Rock Springs is very, very safe, right?
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, because typically there's squads in Rock Springs,
Mhm.
and that's the reason why they're here. So
And you've been very handy at times, thank you very
we
much.
try,
Yes.
right? I mean, it would be nice to be everywhere, but unfortunately, you know. So same thing with the old healthcare center. That's the 154 is a border,
Mhm.
and so if one of the two area cars are busy, the other one will usually typically go down to the old healthcare center and sit, so they can respond to anywhere in that area, one of those two areas to help either back up another officer or respond to a call for service because somebody's busy, so.
Well, I told them, because they asked, well, I said, they used to just sit in my parking lot. I said, at least they moved across the street now, so.
Now that it's a open business,
Yeah.
we don't, we don't want people to not go there.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Oh, no, that's fine. That's acceptable.
I appreciate the explanation. but
Yeah.
We do get asked as board members.
Yeah, that's the reason why we're in Rock Springs a lot.
That's why I said it's in the middle of the county.
Yep.
That's what I said. Yes, I was right. I was guessing. I was guessing, I was right. So any other public comment? Okay, public comment is officially closed. Library director's report, just like me. Oh, there you go. Okay, see her.
I'll just read the top paragraph. So our numbers are out for circulation, programming and activities to go since last month. There's a great turnout for the author, Amber Sawyer, and her horse, there was 24. Tomorrow we'll have the big kids, they are making their own ice cream sundaes. Wednesday is National Vanilla Ice Cream Day, in case you didn't know. Tuesday, July 29th, from 1:30 to 2:30, there will be a pottery studio tour at the fires. And that's for adults and big kids. So, we will be meeting up there. And next month, we will wrap up with a pizza party and turning in their summer reading logs. There's been about 11 turned in so far. And we are also looking ahead for the homeschool group in September, trying to plan topics and get their ideas so that we can have a successful group. There is, like basically two groups between the elementary, which is like first grade to like fifth grade, and then sixth to 12th grade. So we try to plan our activities accordingly to meet their needs. Also, BadNet is upgrading their circuits, and AT&T manages the backbone of that service. So AT&T is using Brightspeed as the last mile provider to our site. So they will be installing this or updating this in the control room very soon. Any questions? Okay, that concludes my report.
Public works. Aaron Becky tonight. Things that he's done in July, he's read the water meters, hung water shutoffs, built picnic tables, did some DNR samples. He worked on the DNR water and wastewater reports. Put in water meters and services in the new subdivision. Abandoned Lowell Sewer and capped it. Worked on the dig tickets, mowed grass, weed whack, sprayed weeds. Worked on some maintenance and quotes on equipment. Burned house at the lagoon. Worked on the library humidity issue. Did some fire extinguisher inspections, sprayed some more weeds, and then cleaned up storm damaged limbs. Any kinds of estimate of, oh, okay, that's it for that. Water bills over 100. 11. Okay, discuss, update, approve block cameras. All yours.
Alright.
What we really have you here for.
What's that?
What we really have you here for.
Yes. Am I talking to you guys or everybody? Both? Okay, so my name is Eric Canal. I'm a sergeant with the Sauk County Sheriff's Department. Tonight I'm gonna be talking about flock cameras. So a representative from Flock contacted me, I'll explain what all that is, contacted me and said that they were in the talks with the village about some cameras potentially on Second Street with the new construction coming up and the heavy trucks on, problem on Second Street. And so they had asked me what I knew about it. Of course, I reached out to Jenny to find out, what all was going on and thought, why not work together to do this project potentially. So for those of you not aware, Flock Cameras, Flock is a company, it's a safety company, it's nationwide. They produce license plate reader cameras. There are currently 5, I beg my pardon, Sauk County Sheriff's Department has 5 fixed license plate readers throughout the county. We have one in LaValle, one in Spring Green, one on Highway 33 east of Baraboo, and one on Highway 12 by the new Quick Trip at PF. And we just installed one down by Merrimack. That's our 5 cameras. Those cameras are not live feed cameras. They don't measure speed. They don't do anything other than they take a picture of the license plate and they run it against the national database. So stolen vehicles, missing people, Amber Alerts, stuff like that. When one of those vehicles goes by a Flock camera, we get an alert that says, hey, this missing person just went by your Flock camera. I bring up a missing person just a few weeks ago. We had an alert that went off at the Highway 12 and PF camera, and we were able to find the vehicle, stop it, and the lady was having some early dementia. She was actually missing from Chicago, Illinois, and she thought she was going to Walmart in her town. It was like Wheaton, maybe, one of the suburbs. But when we asked her where she was, she said she was in Wheaton and she was headed home from Walmart, and she was only 4 hours away. So we contacted her family and ended up hanging out with her, made some arrangements. They got a ride up to pick her and her vehicle up, but that was just one success story. We've had multiple missing people that have been located using those cameras. There was a hit and run out on Levy Road a few months ago where a bicyclist got struck by a car. That case was solved utilizing the Flock cameras. The cash store in Baraboo was robbed just a few months ago. I don't know if anybody remembers hearing about that or not. That case was solved using these cameras as well. They have so much potential. Searching, we can search makes, models, colors, different identifiers on vehicles. I know when I say we have 5 cameras, the Sheriff's Department has 5. There are currently, I want to say 37 cameras in Sauk County between Lake Delton Police, Ho-Chunk Casino, Reedsburg PD, Sauk Prairie PD. Baraboo is, I believe they're getting 5 cameras. They're in the works right now getting 5. So we'll have over 40 cameras in the county. So what is that? Why am I here? So I understand you guys are looking at potentially doing something with Second Street with the construction and the issue with heavy trucks coming down. Flock does have 24-hour live feed cameras, and they talked about potentially utilizing those. I'm not the one to talk about costs. I know a little bit about some costs, but it's $3,000 a year for the LPR, the license plate reader. To add a live feed camera to that camera, it's a separate camera, but it mounts on the same post. It's an additional $1,000. So for $4,000 a year, you get that coverage, I guess. As of right now, like I said, we just added one. The Laval Telephone Company reached out to the Sheriff's Department and said they wanted to fund one. And so we're actually gonna be putting another one up in Laval. The 2-year contract is $3,500. There's an installation cost for the first year, but they're splitting it up into the 2 years, so it'll be $7,000 for 2 years of coverage. And if we wanted to add a live feed camera onto that, it would be an additional $1,000, give or take. How can you guys use that as far as the village goes? We would be looking at working together. We could potentially be the overseer, if that makes sense. You know, it would be in the Sheriff's Department's database. We would get the alerts, stuff like that. I'm not familiar 100% with the live feed cameras. If there's somebody in the village that could have access to that as well, that's a potential. But the way I see this working out for you guys would be, ultimately, depending on the positioning of the camera, you would be able to see when a vehicle comes down 2nd Street, a heavy vehicle that's not supposed to be on that road. And the camera is potentially able to pick up the license plate for any kind of, I don't want to say restitution, but any recourse, right, for them not supposedly to be there, I guess. We, unfortunately, the positioning of our cameras, we have them on major thoroughfares. So, like I said, 33 in Laval, Highway 12, Highway 14 in Spring Green, and Highway 33 in Baraboo. East of Baraboo, I should say. We have our cameras posted to where there's not many outlets, if that makes sense. So 12 and PF typically, if a stolen vehicle goes by that camera, there's not very many outlets for that car to get, turn off, and we're usually able to intercept them in a timely manner. Same thing with the Laval camera. It typically hits cars headed towards Reedsburg. There's not a lot of turnoffs between Laval and Reedsburg there are town roads, but as far as major thoroughfares, and so typically, we've got, like I said, it's a great tool to have. We get alerts, we get them on our phones, we get them on our computers to let us know, that either a missing person or a stolen vehicle or a stolen plate or somebody that's got a warrant. We've gotten people, caught people like that before. So ultimately my pitch to you guys is looking to potentially work together on a position for cameras. My belief would be River Street would be a good spot for a license plate reader. Facing northbound, at the end of the guardrail, before the well, people leaving town, headed towards Reedsburg. And then, if you guys were interested in the live feed camera, that could be positioned facing Oak Street? Potentially getting some traffic, coming off of 2nd onto Oak. I don't know how much benefit having a license plate reader on 2nd Street would be, as far as our case would go. If that's something you guys wanna do, that's totally up to you. But other than that, let me just check my notes here real quick to make sure I touched on everything I wanted to touch. A lot of drugs. We have gotten a lot of drugs off the streets as well from these cameras. Other departments, I shouldn't say other departments. Information will come into us that somebody is potentially leaving Madison and they just picked up a bunch of drugs. and here's the vehicle they're driving. I can tell you that every single time anything comes out we're looking for a vehicle for whatever reason, whether it's a domestic suspect or a wanted felon or anything, they always check flock cameras to see where, I mean, there's, what did I say, 14,000, I think? We have access to 14,000 cameras in the nation. And nationwide, we can search cameras all over the nation. And typically, you know, we had a missing person case where we were the people that took the information, put the vehicle information on Flock, and it was hidden down in the Sheboygan area. And then it went down to the Kenosha area. And for 3-4 days, it was in the Kenosha area. Well, they're not here, so we notify Kenosha, let them know, they go find her, make contact with her, she's fine, you know, it's a check welfare. But ultimately, when we put that information in, if this drug information comes in, we put it into the database to search, and we can see, oh, well, it hit on Highway 14 in Iowa County. Well, now we let one of our officers know, they set up down in Spring Green on Highway 14, they find the vehicle, they make an arrest with a whole lot of bad drugs. Some statistical stuff, just to give you guys an idea, in the last 30 days, the flock cameras, our flock cameras read 631,301 plates, just in the last 30 days. My department, just the sheriff's department, in the last 30 days did 1,619 searches. So that's just going into that system, typing in a certain plate and hitting enter, and it keeps track of all that stuff. And then Hot List is a vehicle that we can put in no matter what the reason is. There's a 2 to 4 hour delay from the time somebody lists their vehicle as stolen and we enter it into the national database. Flock updates their system every 2 to 4 hours, and I can't remember exactly which one it is. So in the meantime, we enter that as a hot listed car. That way it's immediate. Now if it hits another Flock camera, it's alerting those departments, hey, a stolen vehicle just went by your camera. And then, you know, they all get the alert, whether it's dispatch or the officers, and they respond and try to locate it, hopefully, you know, locating that vehicle for the victim of the theft, or again, Amber Alerts, missing persons, those are all in there. They cross-reference the national database, so, yeah. So, hot list hits, we've had 2,985 hot list hits in the last 30 days. Now, Flock only keeps the information for 30 days. So, after 30 days, it's gone. I mean, it's, I know people say nothing's ever for sure gone, but in this case, I had a guy that purposely ran over one of my cameras. He thought it was a traffic camera that was measuring his speed, and he thought it was illegal, and he pulled up to it with his truck, rammed it, tipped it over, backed up, and left. And we contacted Flock, and it's $500 to come out and put the camera back up. They put it back up, and 3 days later it happened again. The second time it happened, I got it on camera from another local business. Was able to track his vehicle back to a Flock camera in Iowa County, got his plate, figured out who it was. In talking to Flock, because it was 47 days ago, they didn't have any of those images from his vehicle from the first incident, but I successfully charged him with 2 counts of criminal damage to property, and he pled out, and he admitted to doing it and thought it was a traffic camera that he thought was illegal, and so yeah, the information is only there for 30 days. The way I understand these live feed cameras, they will hold on to the live feed, which seems like a lot of data to me, for 30 days. But, you know, whether somebody contacts one of you board members and says, hey, a semi came down that hill at, 4 o'clock yesterday afternoon, or last week on Tuesday, somebody came to me and said that we would be able to go back in and try to find that footage and potentially, get a hold of that company and find out why they were on that road when they weren't supposed to be, so. Any questions at all? From anybody?
How wide of an angle is it, like, if you were to put a camera, say, like, south of Oak Street, so that it was kind of shooting out of town, would you be able to catch a picture of, is it only license plates, or does it take a picture of, like, the vehicle too?
That's a great question. So, depending on so, the way the cameras are set up, it's like a trail cam, right? It's by motion, it's motion detected, and then snaps the picture. Now, whatever direction we have the camera facing, that's what we're trying to get, is vehicles going in that direction, if that makes sense. It does pick up oncoming cars sometimes, they would come into the village. The problem is if, because of that berm that they just put in along that guardrail along the river, we couldn't put a camera anywhere along there. So in my opinion, the best spot would be just to the north, actually behind the guardrail end, at the north end of that guardrail, facing northbound or the well, and then that live feed camera could be, it's 90 degrees. So, I haven't seen those live feed cameras, so I don't know, but the way they tell me is every 90 degrees they can face them. So if they faced straight west, that would catch Oak Street, the live feed one would. But the LPR, so like I said, sometimes it gets the front of the cars as they're coming into town, but the general hits are vehicles going away from it. And it catches both. If it's a 2-lane road, it'll catch both lanes. But primary is the away going lane. So having it on the opposite side of the road, we would have to face it south, which way did they go at the stop sign, right? That's the.
That was my thought process, was, to see whether or not it would take a picture when the truck stopped at that stop sign, whether it went left or right.
Yes.
If you catch a picture of the truck on Oak Street, there's a pretty good chance it just came down second, because there's no,
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right, there's no other.
That's what I was, to try to avoid the cost of
The live feed. Sure.
Utilize the license plate reader as kind of a filter for that road as well.
Yep.
But
Well, the other thought process is not that I want you to have to get 2 cameras, but if you just went LPR and you bought 2, you could put one up on 2nd Street at the top of the hill, facing east. And any vehicle that goes down 2nd Street's their plate's gonna get logged on that. So that's a potential as well. But
And it would get logged either way, if it were facing east on Second Street, it would catch either way.
Sometimes, I just know that one of the Reedsburg cameras, on Viking Drive, it's right by Anderson Chiropractic, that sometimes will get, even though it's 4 lanes there, it'll sometimes get the inside lane of the car going towards the stoplight, towards, Viking, if that makes sense. It doesn't get them all the time, but the northbound, again, whichever way it's facing, that's the primary target range, and that's usually what, I can show you a picture of what it looks like, the image. I think I still have it on my.
is the live feed camera an option without the license plate reader?
It didn't sound like it to me from Flock. I can ask that. I think I mentioned it to Jenny. I don't know exactly if that's an option or not.
I feel like it's worth reaching out even to the water company or just like.
So that's my truck. So just to give you an idea. So that's on Viking Drive by Anderson Chiropractic. I put my own plate in, so I was able to search my vehicle, and that was at a little after 2 o'clock today. I went by there, and you can see a little bit of the southbound lane, and sometimes a car will come up on that, but ultimately that's what it, and then it's a close-up of my plate, so, yeah, they're pretty, and at night too, I mean, they take multiple pictures of, they take multiple pictures, so it takes it with the infrared light as well. So what you'll see on this picture is 2 taillights and that's it. But it'll take one with a night vision and one with a, so you'll be able to get the, so at nighttime it works as well. So, you guys wanna take a look at that? Wanna see what that looks like?
I just feel like it's worth reaching out to maybe the Artesian Spring and asking if some, I mean, Laval is putting theirs in, you know, they're gonna be
I can,
monitoring their traffic. I mean, more
let's see
and
if
more
I can just
people
do
are
a-
going these block cameras, it's worth
just a
reaching
camera
out to them
search
to
of
see if it's
our
of any use
cameras.
to them, that they maybe want to split the cost
I was headed northbound.
for their safety, you know, for their.
So the camera's facing north and I was headed towards like Nishan.
Yeah, you guys do. I mean,
And,
we're gonna put cameras up. Sac County really has to be the one to monitor.
These are cameras,
Who's gonna monitor
these are what we
any
had.
camera that we put up?
And
And then we'll try to dig through any, you know, days worth of data of what's coming out of there.
we have one. We have one mobile camera that we use, that we can put around like, that's probably what they put up. The mobile block camera, yeah. So the Amish, I'm sorry, I don't mean to offend anybody, but, I call it the Amish Cabela's.
Uh-huh, yep.
It's- People know that,
Yes,
right?
Yep.
yes.
So they were burglarized, was it a year ago, maybe? And they were hit a couple of times, and we actually mounted we have a mobile camera like this, and we mounted that in the area to try to pick up any vehicular traffic in that area to help with the investigation. I think they ended up catching,
Nice.
the people that were part of it, so. I'm just trying to get a dark picture here for you to see what it looks like in the dark.
Could the village borrow it to see if it's worth the time to spend the money for one in?
You know what, that is not out of the, possibility. I think if we were to, you know, if that's something you guys are interested in doing potentially, we could look at, putting that camera up to see what, you know, the problem, well, that's not a problem. That our mobile camera is, it has, smaller battery capacity, so it only lasts about 3 or 4 days. All these other ones they're all solar, so they're not hardwired. Reedsburg cameras are all hardwired. There's some parameters. The state makes us, they have to be mounted to, certain poles that you get from the state, or from Flock, I'm sorry, that are state approved. Villages and cities, if you own your own utility, which Rock Springs, I believe you utilize Alliant, right? So they can't be put on any utility poles unless you own them. Reedsburg owns their own utility, so all their cameras are fixed right to their utility poles, and they're hardwired. Ours, I mean, they're solar and they last, well, I just checked the battery power on all 5 of our cameras, and I think one of them was at 99 and the other 4 were at 100%. So yeah.
My question would be, I guess, when you get some time to research it, to see if we can get the live feed camera without the license plate reader. And then also, if there would be a position that camera, the license plate reader, if we went that route, could be positioned to catch a vehicle coming off of Oak Street, you know what I mean? So that's, it's 2-lane road, sometimes it options if you had it in the right spot where?
I think
it would
what I
trigger
would do is, it's Mike, right?
Yep.
What I would do is probably go somewhere between, I'll ask them if we can go somewhere between Elm and Oak on the west side of 136, facing northbound, because the only issue with that is if the truck comes off of Oak and turns on to northbound, we may not get it, just with the positioning. But I'll ask them that question.
That would be, for me, just not speaking for myself, but that would make it a lot more interesting to see if there was a spot that camera could be positioned to catch that vehicle as it came off of Oak.
Right.
And snap the picture, and we would be able to prove that it just came off of Oak Street, where it come from, if we just came off of Oak Street, came off the Second Street Hill.
Well, I think also that position at the north end of the guardrail, with the live feed camera, you would be able to see that,
Right.
for sure. And again, I don't know how,
See, in our situation, I think the live view camera would be more beneficial than the license plate
Right.
reader.
yep,
But, if there was a situation where we could, try to figure out maybe with the water company, maybe the sheriff's department, we could come up with some sort of agreement to put one there that was a license plate reader, so you guys had that data, right? But it would also kind of protect us on our street. Then, to me, that would be far more beneficial than putting the license plate reader there and pick up,
right,
cars that, yes, are important, but
right.
not necessarily what we're looking for.
Yeah, and I mean, that was the whole point of me coming, I think, was to talk about how we could potentially work together and come up with a resolve to benefit both entities, right? And we're open to anything, but I'll reach out to, I'm off until Wednesday, but I'll just, actually, when I get back in my truck, I'll shoot a text to the rep and ask him if the live feed are able to go standalone, first of all, and what his opinion is on a northbound facing camera on the west side of the road.
Being
Just
able to
south
have
of,
like an intersecting car,
Yeah.
I mean, because then the license plate reader might be beneficial to all of us.
right. It would have to be far enough down to the south to where if they turn, that's the only problem is if they turn southbound to get that picture, it'd have to be far enough south. But if it's too far south, it may not get it if it goes north.
So it's designed to take a picture when it sees the license plate, when it has a clear view of the license plate, not necessarily the vehicle.
No, it's actually a vehicle, it's motion detected. So all the images that are on here, I can put no plate, I can put unknown plate, all images, and then sometimes you'll get, cause there could be as we all know, some of the license plates are peeling off, right? The numbers are peeling off, it'll show that vehicle, but you can't read the plate. So, I mean, it's motion detected. If somebody walks in front of it, it'll go off.
At least it should be like the name of the company or the
That's
truck
kind of what I
or.
was
maybe-
getting
Yeah.
at.
Yep,
Whatever would intersect there, they would take a picture of it,
Right.
And we'd know, even if we couldn't see the license plate, we could see on the door, the DOT number or something.
and with that live feed camera, you're able to play it back. So depending on, if that was facing down Oak Street, or I think it's a little further north of Oak, where the end of the guardrail is. But I believe, based on, I was on FaceTime with the flock guy, and so I'm standing by the guardrail, and I'm like, oh, how does this look? And he's like, that's actually a good spot right there. Well, then I turned to show him where Oak Street came out, and he's looking at a map at the same time, so he's following along. And he thought that the live feed facing that way, that would help. But my opinion for you guys, you wanna see Second Street. You can't see Second Street from that angle. But at the same time, if a truck's coming down Oak Street, it had to have come from Second. Right, or Elm, you know, if it turned up now and then came back around, but you should be able to see some of the second, you'd be able to go back and see which way it came as a live feed camera, so. And I believe it records all the time, so not just a motion activated as far as the live feed camera. So yeah. Any other questions? Yes?
The feasibility study.
I'm sorry, I have a really hard time hearing.
Sorry.
I'm sorry.
The feasibility study for the village, you know, for that kind of an expense, how would you recoup your cost in that? I mean, is this person gonna be fined for traveling down that street? And, I mean, that's a lot of money for this
Well,
village.
that is a great question. I will tell you, I don't know, you guys might be able to, what is Second Street rated as? 10 ton or 8?
It'll probably be a 10-ton road.
10-ton road?
Just because we have farm machines.
Okay. So, I will tell you that we have stopped trucks on town roads, especially with Highway 23 being shut down right now. There's a lot of trucks using Golf Course Road as a cut across. I will tell you that without specific numbers, because I don't know the exact formula, but a truck that I stopped was 10,000 pounds overweight on that road. So they were allowed to be on the road was 20,000 pounds. I think they weighed just a little over 30,000. And the fine was right around $4,000. We did stop a semi truck on Snake Hill. Familiar with that road? Old Loganville Road. That truck weighed 76,000 pounds, and that's an 8-ton road. So at 16,000 pounds, they weighed 76,000. They were 60,000 pounds overweight. That fine was over $16,000. And that company gets that fine. So it's not written to the driver, it's written to the company. Now, we thought, because we know how the court system works, that they would come in and try to plead out, and the judge said absolutely not. And the company had to pay. Now, they pay the county, right? County ordinance. So how to get restitution out of that one trucking company, I don't think that's feasible. But money coming into the county, I don't know how they divvy it up. Are you familiar with that at all, as far as, you know?
We don't get any.
The other thing, to mention to the board, you guys might be interested in doing is having some ordinances. Obviously, a village ordinance that prohibits vehicles being on that road, and then it would take an enforcer as well to be able to enforce that ordinance. I know we ran into that with the West Baraboo, village of West Baraboo. They wanted us to go ticket a whole bunch of cars that were parked illegally and stuff like that, or not moving for the snow, and we ended up telling them that we can't enforce their ordinances. We could write them a county ordinance, because the county as a whole, but for them to recoup that cost, they would have to write the ticket. But they had to go to their village board and have somebody that was a code enforcement officer that was able to do that through the village, and then they were able to write those ordinance violations. So that's a potential.
I mean, we can look at it all like that too.
Right.
I mean, we don't have, the only thing we have in this village for presence of officers is Sauk County.
Mhm.
You know, we don't pay Sauk County for their services, that they provide that service for our village. I mean, yeah, we can go spend money on an enforcer and all the other stuff that goes with it, then we're really talking.
Well, I think, I don't know exactly, but I think if you might even be able to do it amongst your village board.
Well, I
So where like, Mike, you are designated as the code enforcement officer
We
for the
don't want
village.
that. We don't want that.
But, I mean, that would be like, okay, somebody that doesn't mow their lawn in a timely manner, you know, whatever that, right, there's probably a few of those, right, every town has one of those. But parking ordinances, stuff like that, where, you know, I don't think it costs much to do that, as
We
far
don't,
as.
we don't have a court system.
Right, but can you,
Because we've been down this road before, because we used to write tickets for like
Sure.
Years ago.
Okay,
And then our attorney's like, you guys don't have court system, you know, you have to piggyback with a Reedsburg or somebody that's gonna
Sure.
provide due process.
yeah,
For somebody who wants to argue, or somebody that doesn't want to pay their bill. Well, now you're talking about going into the Reedsburg court system, you hear
Right.
about gangs for fees and all the stuff that goes into that, where, I mean, was just an option I felt like, so we would have Sauk County monitoring for us. We don't have the staff to monitor a camera or a live feed, or to
Right.
sit back and look for 30 hours as to who came down the hill. I mean, it was just another thought process of having presence in our village.
So one more question on the
Yeah.
live feed camera. If for some reason we were able to do just the live feed camera and it, came out to X amount of dollars a month, does that also send you, a trigger then when like a vehicle is?
that I don't know. I would imagine there's something, there's gotta be something that,
That would be the tricky part is, obviously, it'd be nice to have that camera feed there to, so that we could say a vehicle came down there or whatever, and you could look back on it and see the vehicle, but I mean, if nobody catches that vehicle coming down there,
right,
how does Sauk County get an alert saying a vehicle came down that road? I guess that'd be another thing.
yeah, I'll ask that to Dan. Dan is the guy, Dan? I think his name, that originally reached out, so. I'm not familiar with the live feed. When I heard about it, this was the first I'd heard about them, and my upper administration is very interested in getting one or two of them to add to our existing. Right. Well, again, I don't know if there's a separate cost for a standalone, I don't know if they do standalone or if there's a separate cost, but I know that for hardwired to add to an existing camera, it's $500. For a solar existing, it's $1,000 a year. So, for the standalone camera, so, again, if you're looking at an LPR with a standalone, my math would say,
I think that's gotta be a really good spot for Sauk County to put one of their next LPRs in. Then we could fund the.
you know, right. So actually, what I was, looking at potentially doing also, no matter what, I'm going to do this, is to talk to my guys, instead of sitting across from your place at the town hall, have them sit by Open Second and just be there. I don't know how many, I haven't done the research yet to see how many houses are down Oak, past Second, west of Second.
That's right, you have 3 of us right at that corner.
If you wanted to sit in one of the driveways, you probably could.
Yeah.
There's actually a village owned street right there that goes in between some of the green space that you can sit.
Okay. So I had mentioned it, that, instead of sitting over at the town hall, just to help out with some monitoring of Second Street, whether it's during the construction phase or after, just to, and then I also talked about adding, getting with, Kurt, right? Kurt Nipo?
Yep.
About getting some signage up on Skyline, cause it's Second Street quite a ways out after you get around the corner. But, perhaps putting some signage by high-low, right? So if they're coming up, my guess is they're coming off of, I don't know, Buckeye maybe, or, yeah, but giving them an out, right? To come down high, they shouldn't be going down high-low either. But, at the same time, is it a farmer? I don't know who the culprits are that are typically driving on that road. In my opinion, they shouldn't be going down Second Street anyway because it's too steep. But, as a town road or a village road, if it's a farmer that's coming in from Skyline Road, that's not against the law.
But as somebody that's drove grain truck for a long, long
Right.
time, I would go all the way down to 154
Yeah.
before I would chance that snaky road.
Or even high-low is a steeper hill coming down, So, and I know Aaron drives his milk truck to his house, but he's coming right back to Buckeye and coming back out, and, which is allowed, but at the same time, you know, he's not using them as a cut across either, you know, so.
I'm thinking that, there's some dump trucks that try to come straight off of 154 and then use that as a cut across to get down into Rock Springs and up to the quarry, which to me doesn't make any sense.
It doesn't.
It's that much harder on the truck and the brakes and
Right.
everything, whether you're loaded or not loaded, it's still hard on the truck.
So I sit right by the window, goes down the hill. I haven't seen many dump trucks or any type of, the only thing that I've seen are like, trucks that have the porta potties going up or a gas truck. I haven't seen many of them.
They both would be under the weight limit for that.
So you know, and tractors or, you know, that. I haven't seen much of it lately.
There's been many semis lately on there, but
A lot of loose gravel in there now, so that's
Yes.
why they're probably kind of
Avoiding it.
avoiding it. But I think ultimately what we need to do is, I mean, we grab the information from Flock and see what all of our options would be as far as a license plate reader and what angles we could actually catch there. If the other one is a standalone where we could use that, and then when we get closer to the project being done, you know, then we'll see, maybe that's when, you know, you have some officer presence there and we see if it becomes a problem. If it becomes a problem where you got a lot of trucks because they know the road is nice now,
You revisit.
then we revisit it, then at least we'll have that information and we can say, yep, we wanna move forward with the Flock, you know, the live feed camera or whatever.
Yeah, hopefully I'll have an answer, even if it's by tomorrow. Not to do business outside of the board meeting, but do you want me to send it to you? If I get that information, then you can distribute it to these guys. Is that all right? Okay. All right, any other questions at all?
No, thank you.
Very
Thank
good.
you for your time, we appreciate it.
Anytime, call anytime, thank you.
I'll be in touch, once I talk to.
What's that?
I'll be in touch with you.
Okay, very good, thanks guys.
Thank you. So for a motion, do we just want to get more information on this time?
Yeah, there's nothing.
Yeah, well, that's what I figured. Just discussion, okay, that's what I thought, just want to make sure. Discuss, update, approve Tidley Oak Beer Becker.
And he never got back to me again, so I'm still waiting. I think we've had another meeting with our accountant, so.
Discuss, update on Christmas lights.
My update portion of that, I didn't mention that I had somebody that was willing to do the same class in painting, give us a quote. Unfortunately, I have not been able to, lives on, over towards Briggsville, and he just has not, able to get over here this way, so I kind of almost, as I say, give it up on him, or thinking maybe I would take some pictures of them and give them a rough estimate as far as the size of them, and then he can say, tell us how much I charge for one, if the village is actually interested in that, otherwise I just don't let go. I do believe though, if we're gonna stick any money into it, they should be saying that, so that people, we're saying less than hardcore, which is.
Some lesser, they can.
Where's Henry when we need him? I don't know anybody else, does anybody else have any leads?
Did anybody follow up with Jeff Lighting?
Or
The trio, the Christmas stuff?
for sandblasting?
Just ask,
I don't think so.
check with them. Are you doing all of them? Is that what your plan is to do all of them?
It was 5 before. I think it was, Jeff, you're gonna do 5,
It was
right?
5.
It was 5 this year.
Village was.
Not this year, there was only time to do 5 this year. Jeff
so many.
volunteered to do 5 of them. But I believe that you're going to announce that they don't have time to finish 5, correct?
Okay, here's the story, it's down to you again. Last Thursday, and they said, what's going on, Dave? And all I could do was, no. thought for sure a month ago they would have had them sitting down there painted, and they're not. We just painted 12 displays. And I said, the board seems they want to have them professionally painted, that's okay. Well, where it's sitting now is they had 6 weeks where they were waiting to get displays out of the trailers. So they had 6 weeks where they could have had them done. And now where they're standing right now is, they don't think they have time because you waited too long.
It's right, that should be done right. You know, sandblasting, get painted before.
Well, it's here or there, we start talking about paint and Corey, when the library said they were gonna do that 2 months ago. But that's here or there, the union saying right now is they wanna help the village, but they can't guarantee nothing now because it's sat so long. Well, we gotta start working on their rights for the festival, like they said for Christmas. And what they were gonna do with their project is dedicate 2 guys just for us. And they don't know, he did mention maybe we'd get a couple of them done, but he's not even guaranteed that. But we kinda waited too long on them. And they're really, they're willing, he wasn't upset or nothing, he said, hey, you can't do it, we'll work with you next year.
And then I think we get them all sandblasted this year, and we only get 5 done next year, they're all ready to go then.
Yeah, it doesn't pay, we gotta do it right if we're gonna blow it, it doesn't.
Well, I'll tell you what, I wouldn't have them sandblasted and painted because of these tariffs. They're even worried about next year what the light bulb's gonna cost. Light bulb might be $2 next year, now the price might be double. Because remember, there's 230 light bulbs on that. So that would be almost $500 just for light bulbs. So I wouldn't really invest the money in sandblasting them till we get a price from them next year.
What time do they start?
Last year was in January. It was February, okay, it was January, it was February when I talked to them. But
Is that
that's,
something that we could prepay for the light bulbs?
no, because, I mean, it would be great on our part, but if we gave them for light bulbs and the double, we just screwed them out of money. So they would never go for that.
Oh, no, but they buy them now.
Buy them, send them here.
Light bulbs now and have them sitting there.
Well, you know what, I could ask them, I mean, I could really, because that was the biggest concern, even giving you a quote to begin with, when Trump started this tariff stuff, that they don't know, I mean, if they get their bill. But yes, like, if you're gonna do 5 of them, I could ask them, purchase the light bulbs and have a guarantee into it next year with them, and I would get a good verbal contract with them all, I mean, make sure you get your money back if they don't or whatever.
In writing.
I mean, that's a good way of locking it in. And then if you did that, then they would know that, yes, these guys are for real now, because now they're a little iffy now, because they're not sitting down there. You can get it done, so there's a little, not trust in it, because we didn't do it right away. So, yeah, I think that would be, I'll present that to them, if that's what you guys want. Because I think it was, like I said, 230-ish light bulbs on it. Which if you look online, snowflake like that, with only about 130 light bulbs, will be $1,200, made out of that same steel frame, same size. Anything cheaper is plastic. So yeah, I agree with you, where if you're gonna make this as an investment, it should be powder coated. Because the thing, I'm so far away, I'm not sure not gonna see the rest. So that's up to you guys, whatever you want.
See if they'll take it. else to buy the lights in advance and hold them if they say no.
Now, are you gonna make a motion on this, or what do you
It's
have
all-
to do? Because
it's
do
not
I have to,
okay.
no, what I'm saying is, are they gonna have to wait another month? Oh, see, this was our problem with, is I had to light here the day after the meeting, so we had to wait up for a whole month before I could present this to you. And that took a month out of the project. Mike saying, we're gonna look for somebody painting, took another month out. The library saying they were gonna paint them or get somebody, that took another month out.
What does the library have to do with it?
The library said they were gonna have them painted by the high school.
They said they're gonna contact the high school and see if
And
they
that
can find
didn't work
somebody.
out, we never.
Well, that's what I'm saying, but what I'm saying, that's another month. So that's 3 months just on paint.
Welcome to government.
There's a process.
You know, so it's totally up to you guys. I mean, I don't, to me, I was just doing what I said I'd do for the board.
Yep, I guess just see if they're open to possibly, getting us a quote for ordering the lights in advance, and if they are, then we'll move forward to put a motion on to potentially approve that next time, and if not, unfortunately, I guess it's our loss. I mean,
Well, I mean, if
I
I could
think
get your
it
price
is what
of-
it is.
if I could get your price of bulbs with the other account, you would just say you're gonna spend $1 for the price.
But we just wanna make sure that if we're gonna do it, we're gonna do it right, don't pay to do it half, you know.
Half-ass backwards.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
Well, yeah, and I agree on the painting, but we lost 3 months. And you gotta remember, this isn't a business, this is a volunteer group that was gonna do this to get started for nothing. What's the cost?
Well, we're a village.
We have one employee who had to do how many different picnic tables, and he's got a mowing and everything else. I mean, I don't know.
So whatever, I mean, I'll bring you the list and you can do whatever you want.
Discuss update approved camper ordinance.
Alright, so I think we should reach out to the attorney and have him draft something for a camper ordinance for the village. Obviously, we have a camper on, is it Montgomery? Is that Montgomery? No. Bender. That I have reports of that are now hooked up to water. That's now hooked up to water. So I think we just need to have him formalize something. We don't really have a camper
Yeah, there should be
ordinance.
something out there, we don't really have anything in hands, should be something that puts, you know, I can see somebody doing something temporarily or something, at least letting the village know there's something temporary for whatever reason, you know. But it can't be a full-time thing, and, you know, all dealing with power and water hooked up to it. If you're not using it, then it should be closed, right, you know?
Yeah.
So,
So I think he's probably got some examples of what other villages and places use, see if he can throw something together and we can discuss at the next meeting if everybody's okay with that.
Okay, but what's the end game? We get a camper ordinance, we can't enforce it anyways, we've talked about this before, so we pay an attorney to make a camper ordinance, and what do we get out of it?
Well, something probably is gonna have to be done, because there was always trouble at the well before, and I almost called you because we had like the Partridge family bus parked out there by the well, and I mean, if it would have been there any later, somebody was in it, you had like Hippie World, you know, by the spring, which is the villages now, and fortunately they left, but, you know, it's nothing, you've got people there washing their hair and everything else. So, I don't know.
Again, I think they really needs to tell you what it is you have to do.
Yeah, there should be a fine, like it's.
Yeah, we have like a daily fine that we can, but we just.
He said when he was here, we have a fine for the long one too. They don't pay it, what do you do? Like, they don't get out of the camper, I mean, we just keep cranking it out, but.
I put up.
Yeah.
They don't pay it, we mow it every so many times.
Ask the attorney what we can do.
Yeah, go ahead,
You
yeah,
know,
but.
maybe we can
That's what I-
deputize people and walk out there with a gun and, I mean. I'm serious.
I mean, I feel like we have teeth when it comes to those kind of instances, like maybe even mowing, we can ask them to mow, we have in the past, if they don't, we can put it on the tax roll. So if somebody wants to argue that they have a fine for parking in the wrong spot, we don't have a court system to give them due process. But it is definitely something I'll bring up to them before I even have them draft something, because there's nothing we can do about it, but I agree with you.
You can shine lights in their windows, there's things you can do.
Well, maybe you are setting.
You
up
get a
the
floodlight
enforcer.
out there, they'll get irritated, they'll move.
I'll just reach out and see what our options are.
Sounds good. Discuss, update, approve shut issues on Montgomery and Lotto.
Another complaint from residents, people stay in that shed. And also it's the upkeep of that lot, but I don't think we can really pick on that lot when we have other lots that are issues, so.
People are staying in a shed?
Yeah, it's a
Little
big
garden
side.
shed.
It's a real big side. I feel bad for that neighborhood, I really do. Montgomery.
Feelings on it, I feel like you could make him remove the shed. I don't know if that, I mean, he was under strict instructions that that shed could be there, but could not be there. Could not be staying. So we're getting reports from neighbors that they're actually staying overnight, and then maybe we stay with the shed. We're both just right for the building.
Since they're not doing anything with rebuilding or anything.
Right.
They're supposed to, a certain amount of time.
We issued a permit for a temporary storage building.
Right.
It's no longer a temporary storage building, because they don't have any intention of building it.
Right.
I guess we could start with that. I don't know if we can do much about the lot cleanup, because there's other places that we need to as well.
We had, we're meeting to really try to figure out something with the lots that are not being, why it's so hard for us to be able to enforce that. It definitely needs to be enforced.
At least there was some letters, some of them comply.
But I, you know, like we discussed before, I mean, some of these people don't even get their mail, so.
Sure, very true.
If they don't get their mail, they're not getting our letters, you know, so what,
What do I
as
do?
the board, we gotta have some ground to stand on as far as saying, this is not acceptable, we have an ordinance that says you have to go along, you have to, you know.
If there's rats there, you can do something. If there's rats or anything like that, you can call the health department in like we did before.
Right, look what that does.
Well, it got,
It's just as bad or worse now.
well, you have, sometimes you gotta keep calling, you know, if it happens again, but we solved the problem the first time.
I don't know, I guess I'm asking the rest of the board to kind of start brainstorming on some sort of ideas on what we can do, because I feel it's unacceptable, and I mean, you can complain about it until you're blue in the face, but that don't do any good, and until they start getting some sort of a recourse on it, you know, a fine or something, they're not gonna do anything.
Is there any way we can solicit the sheriff to deliver a letter? Hand deliver letters?
Something that the sheriff's department would do, because it's a village ordinance.
It's a village ordinance again, not a Stock County, I think it's the same thing as we was talking about before, where it's a county ordinance and sure, but it's not, it's a village thing. We almost have to consider at some point hiring someone part-time for like a day or two a week, and I know it's gonna cost money, but in hindsight, if it comes up and we actually can enforce some of these ordinances and get revenue back,
And the attorney did recommend that between the village of North Freedom and the village of Roxbury, we hire an enforcer to do that for both villages.
and that's the only way some of this is ever gonna get enforced. But I don't know when that is, I don't know what that type of cost looks like and how much a day in each town, I don't know.
All things for us to think about. Right.
Somebody
No, it would
recommended-
have to be somebody outside from either both of them.
Somebody that enjoys that kind of work.
someone who's just wants part-time, retired, doesn't wanna do it a whole lot, I mean, you're not talking about dangerous work, right? We're talking about enforcing
Well, it
ordinances.
is actually dangerous work.
It's better than what he was doing, like, if you're retired and doing that, it's less dangerous than that, something like that is the type of person who would be great for it. But I don't know who that is, I don't have to suggest it.
Perfect guy, but he lives in Mazomanie, so I don't know if he will. I mean, he might, he's got hunting land just down by Denver, so there. I consider coming up here for a day or two a week, or.
Should we recoup some of this still on the taxes? We find them and get them on their taxes?
We do with like lawn mowing, we have in the past, if we have to go mow somebody's lawn, we give them so much time, and then we mow their lawn, and then we
Yeah.
put it on the tax roll, you know. there's-
Can we do that, the same with the shut, we gotta pull the shut off, we bill them.
You say, what if they have to pay their taxes though? Like,
Well, then eventually, within, after 10 years, it comes back, say they don't get, which it is gonna get bought or back paid at some point, yes.
Yeah.
But if it doesn't, which would be a rarity, that like after 10-year period, that would come back, where the village would have to eat the cost. I would be minor, I'm not minor, but I wouldn't be,
We were,
you,
And I think we would need a set amount too, in all the ordinances. You can't just tell somebody to move their shed and say, it's the same amount as not mowing the lawn, right?
right, yeah, there's
Yeah,
fees, there's different, we have, yeah, there's different fees and stuff attached, but we have a couple of fees schedule.
so if anybody has any great ideas, please share.
Just put
Yeah,
that on.
I really like the whole idea of having the enforcer, you know, I mean, at the end of the day, that's, you know, he's right. We're not gonna get anything, we're not getting anywhere with what we've been doing for the last couple of years. You know, we're sending letters out, as well as, the yards are at the point where they can't be mowed anymore because the trees are growing up so much that, you know, even if the village said, okay, well, we're done waiting, we're gonna go in there and mow them.
Well, it's like, I mean, this is an example, Chris Booker was in talking to us one day, he's town of Excelsior, right? So they have an enforcer, he happens to be the enforcer, which they made a choice to have the board member do it, which I don't recommend, but, he was saying that the old wayside
Jeff Wayside.
yeah, the old one on 33. So they must have given this wayside, what they say, $15,000 in fines. They haven't recouped any of that $15,000 in fines. So sure, he's writing them, he's enforcing them, they're not paying them. Now the county's going back and saying, if you do this, because they're technically in the county, but they have a lot more teeth than, right, as a township, you have more control that way with the county ordinances. Basically saying that we'll wipe away this $15,000 of your fines you received from the town if this has to be done. So I'm just saying, like, we can say an enforcer, but I wanna make sure with the attorney that just because you're giving them a fine, I mean, they're gonna go pay it too. So, there's just a lot
Put their
that
picture on
needs to
big
be-
boards and shame them.
that needs to be dealt through, but I do agree it needs to. Well, and I wouldn't mind inviting him here. If, at some point, I think it's valuable to hear his thoughts in speaking to the board directly rather than. Yeah, if you could just make it last 20 minutes, please, yeah. It'll still be no $300. Right? I don't think there's any license or code.
Sounded like there was something that.
No, they just hire him as a township, you don't have, it doesn't have to be any kind of special badge or anything, no. Find anything.
Try that, you know, maybe talk with the lawyer, maybe hire him for,
Right.
just for a few hours here and there, just go and, you know, deliver some of these ordinance violations.
Why would people know they're out of code? They're in violation of the ordinances. Doesn't have to be like a permanent position, it's right, you just do it at, like a per diem type of thing almost.
update approved conditional use permit fees.
So I sent out a email asking for villages that have conditional use, the permit fees. Alright. So some got back to me, I have three, North Freedom is 150, I had three coming in back at 150, three at 200, two at 250, and I had four above 400, ranging from 400, 500, 700.
That's a one-time fee, or that's?
Yeah, it's a one-time fee. I just feel like 150 is probably, 150 is reasonable. I don't feel like we're trying to make money, but we're just trying to make people understand there's a process to it, I guess. And 200 is, I think, would be okay too. It's not like we can't change the fee. We have it in place.
What's it for?
Conditional use,
Yeah, for what, like, what would it be used for?
like a business, like a house that wants to have a business event or.
Using your residential property for residential.
So like when the Gold Cement place was, they had a conditional use permit.
We did one thing that for 16 years, and we were supposed to pay once, and then it's not really so. Now it's right.
I guess I'd be looking for a motion maybe for $150.
I would make a motion for $150, but I also have a conditional use permit, so I think I can do that.
You should've said 30.
I already paid mine, I am all in.
I mean, it's all for new ones, so.
I don't know if I can make a motion, I would do it for $150.
I'll make a motion to make $150 for conditional.
Melissa seconded.
Second.
Okay, all in favor? Hey, now we'll remove the chickens.
Well, it's not on the table because they didn't give you the pack.
Okay. No chickens. Okay. Discuss update approval locating sewer line to ponds and stuff to determine post process at 421 Railroad Street, excavate or hide back.
Yeah, I sorry, I made that note there. So they wanna build a house on that piece of property. So I just wanna know how do we wanna go about this? Cause it's it's an industrial lot. Do we want to make them split it up?
I guess you'll have to tell me where the slot's at.
Oh, I'm sorry, I thought, it's on there, I'm sorry, 421 Railroad.
So it's Henry Shop right behind my house. So he has two different avenues of where he wants to build a house. He's either going to, I'm not sure if he's gonna do his log house now, okay, that's what he's back to now. So he has some log kit to attach to, and it would be at the far back. So if you would drive down there, you can see that he's been like pushing, making it flat back there. So what he intends to do is put a fence across part of it so that none of the dump trucks or anything will be back. That'll just be his own personal residence in the back. But they're looking to attach to the back of the garage, well, okay, so it's only gonna go as far as it's gonna go. They're gonna go this way, like with the house, like here's the shed. We're looking at putting the house like right here towards the back. So where the old filter was at. And then this garage then would be, make that be like the person's garage. So then they want to come off, the easement that our property has to come down the little, the driveway there. Or they have their driveway, then go up that little hill. But
This is the Henry's building, this is where he currently has the house laid out. However, our sewer line goes too close through here.
We have our force main going through there.
Yeah. So now he says he's willing to move it up here to be in line with Henry, with the building, you know. My only concern is where that line is, number one. Number two, he wants to bring a driveway back through the easement. that driveway back up. So not only are you gonna have Lisa coming down that driveway, you're gonna have him coming down that driveway, our sewer, what is that, pump, lifts, it's right there, and now you're gonna have another driveway curving back here going uphill. But, I mean, I think that's really for the plan commission to decide, but I do feel like, where does the village stand? We don't, our ordinance does not have industrial lots with a residential home. So I guess that really is the question. I mean, and do we wanna locate that line now that he says he'll move it forward? But do we still wanna locate that line, even if he wants to put a driveway up that hill? Do we want a driveway going up that hill? Do we want more traffic going down that road where our lift station sits? This is kind of a couple of concerns of that lot.
I just think that there's lines underneath right where he wants to go. That's why Henry's building was placed where it was placed. That's why it's so far up, I think.
That's why we have a driveway on the other side, but put the fence, move the fence back just a little bit farther and have that personal driveway there.
I really think it's gonna, I mean, I really think it's gonna be up to the board to decide whether he can have a driveway there. I mean, I haven't asked him, I just basically said, you know, we're gonna have to discuss that driveway, if it's gonna be an option. He assures me it's not gonna be on the sewer pipe, but if we don't exactly know exactly what that, how do we know for sure?
Well, at that point, yeah, we definitely have to have it looked at to figure out what's that. Before we can really agree to anything, we need to know that there's not going to be any building or anything, driveway or anything sitting on top of that line. Whether it's a parking spot, into his garage, or whether it's, you know.
And I guess maybe that's another thing I have to reach out to the attorney on, is do we need to have him, I don't even know how you do that, if you split that lot, Jamie, I mean,
We have to have a
You're-
zoning change.
well, you're gonna have a zoning change, but I
Your
mean,
spot
that,
zoning amendments, yeah.
I mean, you could make it residential if if the lot is next to Lisa's is residential A, but then how are you gonna cut that lot, cause that's gonna go right up next to that building, and that's what industrial. I don't know. I just don't have answers for him, and I don't know what you guys want to do with it, or.
I told him I was pretty confident he could not move any more this way, that he was almost gonna have to be in
Yeah,
line.
he was gonna come back this way and line up the buildings, he said he's fine with that, but the driveway is still in question, and then making it industrial to,
I told him to have to be rezoned somehow, just in case. But then since he wants to attach it to the existing, that's what makes it tricky.
now you can see it here. And this is our least chances of here. If that makes any sense.
And then there's debate, that's the thing, when you read the easement, I think, you know, it is only for, technically was my property, I think, not his, but that's something then the village would have to give him an easement so he could come down.
So I guess if you want me to go to the attorney and ask him how we formally go about this, I can do that, I don't know, it's just more
We
cost for
spend
the
a lot of
village.
money into the, on the attorney fees or whatever, I think we need to figure out where that comes in, if it affects it in any way, shape, or form, it's a hard one, but you have to come on the other side of the building. So before we can get any decisions, we have to know where this is.
You may wanna put a driveway in there, or something like that.
Don't get a big one up, and it's expensive.
So how do we locate that?
I mean, there's gotta be a way to do it, because, you know, you used to have commercial residential, people used to live over their bars and all that stuff.
Right.
This is industrial. Residential, so.
I mean, I don't wanna turn away a home, that
No.
wants to be in the village.
Only resident.
I just wanna make sure we're doing it, you know.
Our assessor got any ideas, or?
So you have 8,000 square feet for this lot? By our ordinance, you need 8,000 square feet to the house. So if he doesn't have 8,000 square feet, even if we separate the house, he doesn't hit it.
I'll ask the assessor what he's got on that, and if he's even able to.
It doesn't look big, but
Yeah, it's big enough, but it's not big enough, isn't it?
Well, find out size, and then we go to locating the line. How do you want me to, how do we locate the line?
Well, I don't know, does Aaron have plans for it, so that we can determine?
Well, that's what I made, that's why, I guess I made those notes by accident, because I thought he was gonna be here, but, well, the two options he said were to hydro back, and obviously we don't wanna excavate, but I don't know what it is.
There should be some sort of a drawing somewhere that shows that.
That's what I thought.
Shouldn't have to excavate the final line. You know, if we had to hire somebody to come in
We'll
and
just replace the force main out that way, so we can have that in there. And it's been on that long since they replaced it.
there's definitely gonna be some drawings somewhere that shows that.
Alright, let me see what I can find, I guess, maybe your picture has something.
And we trying to ask the assessor, he really wasn't,
He didn't have much.
No.
for me.
he didn't
When
wanna
he-
really.
When we had board review, we were talking about it.
Yeah, he doesn't have any ideas for us, so. But yeah, the sewer line, that is the main concern, I think. And that's what I told him, you know, right away, because he's coming over and said, well, this is where I want to put my driveway, and the person's like, oh, it'd be bad. And I'm like, well, it really wouldn't be that awful, and supposedly it's just him and his wife. But he'd have to like take that little hill down quite a bit to be able to get that turn. Cause he wants to come off the one side, so.
Has Reedsburg ever talked to you about, that huge sewage plant that they are building? I mean, they talk about us, have they ever approached the village?
Wow.
Well, they sent letters letting us know that they're building the sewage.
I know, but they talk about in the future that they plan on us, my brother-in-law is on some planning commission there. So, you know, the Val will eventually send their sewage to Reedsburg, and we will be doing the same, and so I just wondered if there was anything that you could approach by them.
We'd obviously, if we did anything, we partner somehow with the village of North Ribbon, because we're closer to them to connect. That way. But it has, I mean, it has been talked about, it's just not, there's nothing,
Well, we
Millions of
keep
dollars
getting
sitting around.
DNR to do this improvement and that improvement.
$10 million pump to go down there.
That's what
I guess I didn't even realize that would ever be an option to pump it that far. I didn't even realize that.
That's sort of like shit going uphill.
It's not.
Is it uphill? Downhill to Reedsburg?
Follow the track, it's straight shot.
Okay, so we'll do
Alright.
some more investigating on the lines. I don't know how serious, they changed their mind, they weren't
Well,
gonna do
he
it, they're
called
gonna
me
do it,
today,
and now
yes,
they're gonna do it.
I know, that's kind of where I'm at, like, how much money am I throwing at this with attorneys and everything
I
else?
would, before you get started with the attorney, I would just find out, how we gotta, what do we gotta do to find that line?
Yeah.
Whether we find the drawing, and we actually go out there and step it off from the lift station to find it, and, you know, and that's how I helped her find that water shut off for Lowell's property or whatever, is measuring from the corner and, you know, using the street drawing and stuff like that. It's gotta be a plan for that line, it's gotta be a drawing something.
Is Red Electrical when they mark?
They've been using that for their fiber, so I guess they could use.
Cause there's, I mean, someone did come out and mark, but it's red, so they got red flags, but.
It's not us, so it has to be somebody else, because he says he can't mark.
The county got their fiber mark and,
Oh, maybe that's,
all over the place marking fiber optic.
Well, he calls it diggers picket, so if there's something over there or something, I don't know, it's not us, so it has to be.
but they didn't mark any
aligned.
of his, it sort of stopped, I mean, it just stopped like where the blacktop was, cause they, you know, put some red paint down and then just around the lift station and where my lilac bush is. But I'm like, well, that's not very helpful. So I wasn't quite sure, I still have to maybe go read the flag, see if it tells me more. But it's all red, so I assumed maybe it was something, but then I was trying to look up to see something more towards on his property. Cause that's what I was hoping to see, if it was electrical or something, that it would be, keep going up the hill there.
When we did that first meeting, did they get your record that was in here?
Yeah. I'll reach out.
Reach out to your director, talk to Aaron when he gets back, and see if he can find the drawing, bring in that.
No, I put this on his plate, back on mine, so. Okay.
Discuss update approved dump truck repair. Looks like there's a bill for North Freedom Repair here, or an estimate, I should say, not a bill, an estimate, for $2,115.95. And it looks like must have to change the oil pan, the gasket, engine oil, oil filter.
When he brought that to my attention, I asked for 3 quotes so that way we can compare quotes. I stopped in on Friday afternoon, or Thursday afternoon, to look at the situation, to see what was all wrong. The oil pan is in fact rusted out, leaking. Unfortunately, the transmission cooler lines run right next to the oil pan, and we start to take the oil pan off, and we bump over and start leaking as well. So those will have to be done at the same time. So I took it over this morning and got hold of Alliant Power in Madison, which I use a lot with DOT. Had them give us a quote, which I sent to Jenny, I don't know if you got them. But then I also talked to North Freedom Repair, because their estimate there was, with them buying parts, they had no transmission cooler lines on it. So obviously have to add that to, they have to get a cost on them and then submit us another quote. What I would like to do, I've already talked to them. The estimate that Alliant Power sent us was extremely high, which I knew it was going to be. But I kind of wanted to use that as a comparison, because a lot of the dealerships and bigger, shops like that are gonna have those type of prices. Just to give a comparison on, somebody might think our green repair is high, but in fact, it's not that high. So I would also like to get a stainless steel oil pan for the truck, so that we don't have to cross this bridge again in another 4 to 5 years. And we don't have to worry about it. The stainless steel oil pan is about $400 or $500 more. That was just basing that number off of the estimate that Alliant Power gave us. So I haven't called Snow Depot, which Alliant Power never heard of them before, so I actually gave them that information. They called and got the price of the parts. So I don't know what our price would be buying it direct yet. So what I'm proposing is, I would like to purchase the parts directly through Snow Depot and then Western Star. I get the oil pan and gasket and stainless steel bolts from Snow Depot, and then I would get the transmission cooler lines. If they're available in stainless, I want to get them in stainless, so that we don't ever have to do this again. If not, we'll just get the standard mild steel or rubber, and then take it to North Freedom Repair with our parts, which they've already agreed to fix and repair the truck with our supply parts, because I asked them if, I didn't really want to call them and say, if we buy the parts, will you do this? My pitch to them was, if we purchase a aftermarket stainless steel oil pan, would you still consider doing the job for us? Just because I don't want them to think we're just trying to undercut, if we buy the parts, we get it cheaper than what they're selling us the parts for. So obviously, they probably don't know the avenues to get the stainless steel oil pan, so that was kind of my pitch to them. Which if you look at the estimate that they sent back just for the labor, it's like $900 or something like that.
I think it was
$870. So then we'll estimated at, $1,200 in the oil pan, and whatever Alliant Power put on that estimate for the transmission cooler lines. So that would be our parts costs, $1,200 for the oil pan and gasket and bolts roughly. And then whatever they have on that estimate for the cooler lines, unless I can find them in stainless, which might make them a little bit more expensive.
You'll have to replace them, it makes sense to.
So if everybody on board is okay with that, we'll work on it this week to get the prices of the oil pan for sure. What we would pay for it. If we buy it through Alliant Power, it's $1,500, but I haven't called Snow Depot yet to find out how much our cost would be on it as a village. So we might get it, a little bit cheaper than that. If we have to pay the full price of what Alliant Power, which I'm sure they mark my parts up, that's why I'm saying we could probably get it for $1,200. I will.
So we're talking probably about 3 grand.
I got 900 in the, parts and labor, which I have a sneaky suspicion that, our Freeman Repair is gonna end up with a bigger bill than that. They have a very low amount of labor for what has to be done there, but if they can get it done for that, I'm all for it. So $1,500 maximum for the oil pan, and then whatever. Transmission, cooler lines.
Exceed number.
$900 for the lines, and then some fittings and stuff, so. Minus the 700, so it'd be like $1,100 for the lines. That's what their cost is, that's what Alliant Power gave us for the quote. So,
31, so.
just to give you an idea, now they did state in their email that they sent, or that they tacked on, $500 extra just for miscellaneous parts and hoses and stuff in case something went wrong. Because you always have that rust factor with an older truck, especially the pump truck. And then they also had stated that there could be quite a bit less labor, which they have 6 hours of labor at $175 an hour, so it's $1,000 in labor, which is substantially high. But their total bill was
37.
potentially $5,700.
Not to exceed.
Seems reasonable, don't want to spend
No,
money.
it's on the main motion.
Yeah.
It's
So I think,
down,
what was the initial estimate from
Yours was $2,100.
$2,100 without the lines, so.
5,700.
So yeah, so you split the difference, you're at about $3,500. So I'll make a motion to get the dump truck repaired up to $3,500.
All in favor? And thank you for helping coordinate all that. I appreciate it. Discuss update approve artesian water plant spring ideas.
I met with Arlene and her contractor. Last week, Monday, I think it was. And talked with Corey's ideas and stuff with Mike and that too, to kind of come up with, and send out to everybody. Kind of a good plan as far as getting to the spring and being able to get traffic going through there. The guy that she brought us, her person she uses out of Michigan. He's over for other things, and I think he's looking at doing work around the water plant too. Or at least being a contractor to set things up, use local people and stuff. I don't think we're gonna haul those equipment here from Michigan, but it could be. But the main plan is to come off widen Maple Street, what used to be Maple Street, back out. There's a culvert issue in there. When they redid Maple Street, they dug out the old stuff. Well, they just put in short pieces, new culvert, and then kind of hooked it up to the old stuff that was buried, but that's all rotted and falling in now. Falling into it. Mower that was probably come close. So that would need to be fixed, repaired, beforehand. But it would be basically a 2-lane coming back in until you get to to, there's a little turnoff, which was, it was an alleyway at one time. There's gravel there, but you peel off one way there, and then we're talking about working on that other little spring that's there. It's not as many gallons per minute, it's a smaller pipe, but it'll still be something where people can fill cups, smaller jugs, things of that nature. So then you have two stops, be able to pull up and pull over, so if someone's back here, they can get by you to get around the backside of the little pavilion, again, one way and back onto the road and out. Talking about maybe putting covers, roof type things over these with some sort of paving or concrete or something around them too, to make them keep nice and clean, get you out of the weather and stuff.
The springs?
Put in the breaker rods.
Over the springs? I mean, pavilion, like covering over the actual water flowing.
Yeah.
It was like little Amish shed.
Yeah, if you're standing there filling your stuff, you're not getting rain on or snowing on or whatever, where it's half-dressed and stuff. And so he's doing a bunch of measures, kind of pull that together, I think, to get it, so Arlene can pull their numbers together and take it in front of her board and say, we'd like to do this. See where it goes from there, so.
She said she'd be at the meeting and,
Yeah, she said she would be able to make this one.
This is fancy. That camera there too, the block camera, so.
oh yeah.
So the whole they do with the other one across the road, is that gonna get capped off?
That's their thought too, is at some point we would cap that off and close that. So that before you can even think about doing something like that, you gotta have something else in place that people are gonna wanna come to.
And how do we compensate for the maintenance and all that for this, for people coming to use the water? Is there a plan or does
This
she?
all needs to be discussed with her. All needs to be worked out yet.
Okay.
It is
It's
on the
work in
radar.
progress.
She's, yeah, I talked to her a little bit there.
And you said she's gonna be here?
Yes, the next meeting, next one. Hoping that they would have an approval to move forward by that point. She just wanted Jamie to be able to talk about it. I mean, it might be, but she hasn't been formal by then.
Yeah, he's gonna take a bunch of measurements and stuff. And figure some things out, so.
Would there be a way that the quarry would donate the gravel?
No, she already said back no. She found out it was no, I guess I should say.
Yeah, they won't donate it. But I think the village gets money off, so we should be able to save the money that way. We gave you contact information for who we work with.
I would have thought they would have.
It wasn't that long ago when they donated all,
Yeah, they did, and I think they gave us a decent price. Oh, when we put gravel up in those culverts, they let us take out the overflow. Like, I don't know how many, how much you would keep asking somebody for something too, as a business.
I did the park down there, they were sure this should be back in there.
I don't think so.
All the old spot out of there, all the back in.
I have to actually
usually
look,
know,
but it
because
was,
when you do that, then they don't, yeah.
so they have done quite a bit for us.
I think it was different corners at that point.
It might have been before Matthew.
Yeah, I think it was milestone or whatever it was before.
Okay, I really don't have anything to add this one for president's report. Really not making much progress on the bill over here. She's got somewhat of an appraisal, but it's just still trying to come up with a price, and I think we're gonna be in sticker shock when we, no, I didn't get a chance to read it yet.
Anyway, work in progress on that now. Nothing to report.
I see the subdivision is up to third one.
She's looking at selling the property, she either wants to sell it to a developer, or she wants to sell the property to us, so she's just out of the deal of building all that out to, yeah, crushing station.
2 acres.
She sent us the appraisal on. It went to Beer Record, I just wait till Beer Record responds, because everyone's kind of mulling it over.
I know there's like 2 two different numbers on it, but I couldn't make heads or,
There's two on,
whatever I see.
I can forward it to the board.
Yeah, you can. Yeah,
So you have a copy of it, I just got it this weekend.
Is it, yeah, it was just yesterday.
I see they poured out, or have poured the basement of the third house.
Is it the third house? The third one? Not the one that's already, on the same side.
Yeah. There's two there, there's the one that's up, and then there's one they're working on, and then one next to it, so that's three of them.
Oh, just, so the one that's already up and then the two on the other
Yes,
side? Okay. I thought you meant like a third.
No,
Okay.
not yet. Move on pretty fast.
Village office closure, July 24th and August 21st will be coming up. Building permits.
So I just have, Angela Holsey, 204 East Broadway, a garage roof, and then if you just approve it, I can send, they want a fence too, but I just want Jamie to look at it first. So we make sure it's within ordinance.
The white fence looks really nice.
Oh,
Yeah, we should have put it on the other side of the garage too, and cover some of that